Hey YouTube, happy Saturday. Uh, it's amazing. I am making videos twice a day, every day, and a situation out there changes so quickly that sometimes partway through uploading the video, I'm looking on the phone, I'm uploading the video on one device, and I'm looking on the phone, and it's like, holy crap, new facts came out. The situations are changing. Is shit gonna hit the fan? We don't know. But I'm watching some of this stuff with the Trump campaign. I'm watching some other stuff that's going on. Anonymous is coming out with their Trump campaign, and it is cutting on a nice edge of interference with the democratic process. And one of the justifications I'm seeing in a lot of this is that there are people who are saying that well, this would be like if you were against Hitler's campaign in 1932. There's a point when we get off the boat on historic parallels and say, listen, even a lot of Trump's supporters know he's a bit of a clown. He's not the the president that America needs. He's the president that America deserves. The problem is that no other party in this election has truly come up with the presidential candidate that America needs. There is no presidential candidate right now that is any choice right now that is what America needs. The only true and correct answer at this point in our history is to prevent the supremacy of the German chancellery that could have happened in the 1930s, which is a pluralistic government with a limited government. Ronald Reagan's dream. It's the only answer you people have. Otherwise, you're going to get Trump, you're going to deserve Trump, and the whirlwind that comes with Trump. Because that's what's going to happen. I've been reading some articles where people basically said that the white working class deserves to be abandoned. And you think there's not going to be a backlash. You think you can handle this. Okay? Bernie Sanders could make one very simple series of political choices and gut the support that the Trump and Arpaio America First crowd wants to promote, and that is that Bernie Sanders could readily have a meeting with the current gun owners of America and JPFO leadership and make a pledge to say that gun control will not be his issue in this election. You want to make that play, Bernie Sanders, then you're going to watch the gut of the Trump support evaporate. Okay, that's what will happen. Unfortunately, I don't think Bernie Sanders is ever going to make that choice. He's a little bit too wrapped up in his own intellectual supremacy to make that choice. I don't think it's going to happen. Maybe I'm wrong. I've been wrong before. But the fact of the matter is, I have seen political infighting, let's say in Okanagan, Washington, where the political power structure up there claims to be pro-gun. And they have some conservative credentials, but the problem is that when they involve themselves in robbery and other crimes, that kind of has an issue when the lead operatives in that were, in fact, registered Democrats. Okay, there are issues in Oregon right now. Oregon has nominally been a pro-gun state. They elected a lot of Democrats on the basis of don't mess with the gun owners. And they could actually have Democrats taking control of a lot. Republicans, especially at the rank and file lower level, don't get the importance of local elections. They just don't fucking get it. They don't get the importance of judicial elections, of county managers, of local. They kind of sort of get the importance of sheriffs because that's where gun permits come from. The fact that you even need to get gun permits is probably a call that these guys are rhinos, okay, the vast majority of them. There's one who apparently in the county north of Malheur County in Oregon who's a little more authentic, but they're punishing him for it too. And that has to do with the John Minnis legacy in Oregon law enforcement. The a lot of these people are going to be rhinos, okay? I am getting some stuff on the radio now from a intellectual type stuff out of UC Berkeley, and they're talking about neo-libs, the way we used to talk about neoconservatives, people who are liberals in name only, and they claim that Bernie Sanders is far more authentic to their belief system than Hillary Clinton. That's probably true. We can look at Obamacare and say, where's the hospitals been built? Where's the clinics been built? I did a video last year of the Occupy Medical Clinic that operates in and around Eugene, Oregon, on a volunteer basis. They're not getting much from the government. Okay, somebody donated the bus. There was some people that were going to work on the bus. They're doing a little of this, a little of that. And so the authenticity of the true liberals has not been a legacy of financial success and government funding. So it's interesting when I saw a website decrying Bernie Sanders as a loser and saying this guy only has $300,000 net worth. Yeah, look at the Clintons. And that's where the authenticity and the honesty of what they talked about is obviously in question in liberal circles. If we look at Trump, he is what he says he is. At least he's honest about what he says he is. That's why he's getting the support. And he is honest about being what he says he is, to a degree. That's not one of the problems. I mean, is he a womanizer? I think he says he is. Okay, that's kind of the way these things work. The only correct answer to this, because Trump probably is going to be a leading candidate, and it is morally, ethically, and politically wrong to use force to prevent people from voting for him or attending rallies that they choose to attend. The only way it's going to work is limiting the power of government while the current government is in place. It will not be in place in 2017. Is to limit the power of government and increase the authority of local rule and have the federal government as a defender and not a taker of individual rights, where they even now, the Justice Department's starting to see this, okay? You're starting to see something where people are calling on the Justice Department to defend individual rights against state and local corruption. That's going to be the only role that they really should be allowed to take in a lot of this stuff, in a lot of their courts, is to be the mechanism of appeals, be the mechanism of defense of people's rights. When you have political factions that want to grab the White House so that they can take away the rights of others, that should have been disallowed 50 years ago. The Clintons went for a concentration of power. Bush went and took advantage of that concentration of power. Remember, all the stuff from the Patriot Act was written, everything from the Patriot Act was written during the Clinton administration by Democratic-type people. That was already there. When they signed it in so quickly after 9/11, it's because it was already waiting in the wings. There's a whole bunch of other bad shit that's waiting in the wings. The only correct answer, and this is where Anonymous is going to be exposed for what they are, which is basically just another faction, another secretive wing of government action. What's going to happen is the only correct answer you have is to limit government and limit government power. The Democratic spring, which people are promising for 2017, if this is in response and to prevent a more or less popular election, of course you're going to have a bunch of trouble. Of course you are. The question is going to be what comes out on the other side and who's in control of that. And if it is a strong central government, or even a strong central government that even worse answers to an international tribunal of some sort, or some kind of an international type of thing, that's the beginning of your basic UN takeover. And I'll talk a little bit more about my conspiracy theory in that in the next video.